Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I am Nerdarchist Ted, and tonight we are going to play some Dungeons and Dragons. Before we get into who our players are and who they're playing, let me let you know that this is going to be sponsored by RPG Crate. They have awesome gaming stuff sent to you every month. I run the material that they write that's in each and every crate. This is, I believe, the 30th crate that they've put out, so they've been going strong for a while. I've been running this game for a while, and it's been moved into an ongoing campaign as opposed to a bunch of one shots, which we were running for a while. So with this ongoing story, we are up to session 6. We'll be continuing our story in the city of Covington, and I'll do a wrap, not a wrap up, but a sum up of what happened last session, and after we introduce who our players are. So let's start it off with Jake.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I guess that's me. Let's see. Sorry, I'm making sure everything's working. Yeah, so I'm Jake, and I am from Mini Terrain Domain. I can be found all over the internet at Mini Terrain Domain. And I am playing Parthas Zerg, the Dragonborn Fighter. The only character in this group that has decided to stick with a solitary path.
So all the links to everyone's channels and where you can find information about them is going to be down in the description below. So if you want to jump to any of their stuff, down there is the way to go. So how about you, Asa?
Hello, I am Asa Kinney with Roll for Mischief. We're a Twitch streaming D&D channel. And also I am playing Oslan Kingsman, a human fighter, a monk wizard cross class. Well, that's all for me, I guess.
And Megan?
I am author Megan R. Miller. The R is very important, or you won't be able to find me. My newest novel, Torchlighters, is currently available on Kindle for 99 cents. And if you go to the bookshelf tag on my blog, you'll find a link to the book as well as other things that I've written. I will be playing Dante Malvaro, half wizard, half ranger, all diva.
There you go. And joining us for the first time, V.
Hi everyone, I'm V. I am the Crafting Muse here on YouTube. You can find me over on my channel where I'll show you how to make terrain and paint minis. And I am very excited to join you guys tonight. And I'll be playing Tylea Dusterny, and she is a halfling rogue druid. So I'm excited for this one.
Hey, real quick, Ted. It does not appear that we are streaming to the live area. We're streaming to something else. It's on Nerdarchy, but it's not showing on the Murder Most Foul or whatever it's called.
Okay, this is where did it didn't go to?
No, that shows waiting for Nerdarchy still. I brought it up on my phone.
Yeah, we are on
we already have a
Unearthed Arcana Artificer Revised. That's our little title right now.
Went to the previous, so I will have to fix that all in post. Oh well, let us just sally forth and move on with the game.
Okay, worst case, like I said, I have a backup recording, and if we have to, I can get you the file and you can upload it. Awesome. Worst case,
so I apologize, internets. We are not talking about here, about Unearthed Arcana. We did that already earlier today. So go watch that one after this is over, should you so desire. But we are playing some live 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. As I said, sponsored by RPG Crate. If you want to get the crate, use promo code Nerdarchy, RPG Crate, and that will get you 10% off your first month's subscription. And it's totally worth it. I've been, getting this for a while now, and I absolutely love it. So last session, the characters had arrived in the city or town of Covington, and you wound up exploring some dark and evil creatures underneath the port city, and dealt with some sea creatures that were none too happy. There were apparently townsfolk sacrificing babies. Our beloved dwarven quote-unquote sorcerer, fighter, however you want to look at him, wound up shoving everyone else along as he attempted to bring his weapon down upon the evil stone that was there. and Bolgath was never seen again. Who knows whether we'll see him again, whether he died there underneath the city? Only time will tell. Um, as we were talking off air, Oslin decided to keep the baby that was thrown into the waters to be sacrificed. And over the next several days, as you kind of have rested up, you've been kind of milling about town, and you begin to hear rumors that the wizard who stays in the wizard's tower not too far from town has gone missing. And he was a big help to you guys, actually allowed you to be able to go underwater and breathe. So you're surprised when the three of you, we don't know where Tylea is at the moment, are confronted and not even accosted, but escorted and thrown into the local town dungeon. Don't know why, but you quickly find out that the town has accused you of murdering Apal, the wizard. When you are thrust into the jail cell, you find a small halfling. Actually, not a small halfling, a quite a tall halfling in the in the jail cell with you.
I complain the whole way there.
I imagine you send Snow off, to not be locked up with you. The baby is actually removed from you, Oslin, because the baby is not going to be charged with any crimes.
I think that would be the moment where Oslin would actually fight and thrash and go, like, all up until this moment he'd be fairly catatonic, but once that happens he just goes nuts and loses it. They would probably have to subdue him in some way.
Okay, well, you would be subdued. They as your pseudo unconscious form is there, they tell you that no harm will come to the baby, but you are you must face your trial. And the trial is actually somewhat of a travesty, as you wind up being searched, and that none of you had such a signet ring upon your persons, and yet one of you, one of your pouches is searched, and a gold ring with a strange looking A emblazoned upon it was found. When the trial actually happens, they tell you that, we searched we searched them, we found this ring. A little girl is brought forth and describes a night when she had a bad dream and she looked out the window. Her cottage is not too far from Paul's tower, and they saw the four of you, because apparently Tylea is being roped into all of this with you, and that the four of you were come slinking away from the tower. You guys are able to put forth the best defense that you can, but the town council appears to have their mind made up before the trial had even started. You're escorted back to your cell to await sentencing. That evening, while you are sitting in your cell, you are greeted by Madame Agia, the herbalist within town. She's an older woman, and from your time in town, you've know that she actually was one of the few that was maybe not friendly, but at least a passing acquaintance of the wizard Apal.
Come to gawk then.
What was that?
I'm asking her if she's come to gawk at us.
You know that she was one of the, for lack of a better word, spectators at the trial, but she sat quietly in the back and watched. I am not here to gawk at you. I am here to truly get your side of the story.
Oh, so you know that trial was a farce then?
I do not believe that anything that was said actually holds any real truth. So, what is
Oslin is sitting in the corner, holding like nothing in his arms, kind of cradling it, and he turns to look at no one and says, "Janae, will you see to the baby? I think she's feeling quite fussy." And then kind of lifts it into the air.
And who did you say this to?
Janae.
Oh,
it's not a character that any of us are.
Please pardon Oslin, he's not well.
He's gonna look blankly at everyone, and this is a very dark place. Do you all live down here?
Very unwell. Actually, I've never seen him like this before, and I'm a little bit concerned. Honestly, our side of the story is we spoke to that wizard, and he helped us, and that was the last time we saw him. I don't know who she is. Sorry. And then he pauses and looks at Tylea.
You guys have spent several days in the same jail cell, so you would have had time to, interact to some degree.
All this time, Oslin has been referring to Tylea as Kylie, and is pretty convinced that she's his daughter.
Okay.
I am concerned for Oslin.
We all are, buddy.
Norsum, there's no reason to be concerned. Your father's doing quite well. Quite well indeed.
I'm afraid he may have hit his head. If not, maybe I should hit his head.
We'll put a pin in that.
You want me to put a pin in his head?
You want to try into his head that way? I don't think that's going to work. That's usually the worst idea, quite frankly.
But I don't know what is going on with him. He hasn't been the same since we were under the water.
Oh, I know that when you came out of the water, you helped the dear girl Abby and recovered her baby. And these are not actions of murderers and killers. So, do you think you could find out what truly happened to Apal?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Definitely something we have a stake in. I want to know who set us up. And I bet if we find out who killed him, we'll know.
So she kind of, looks around, looks back and forth, and, she's definitely an older woman, but she hunches down even smaller and beckons you, close to the bars and whispers ever so slightly, in the darkest part of the night tonight, you will have your chance. Use it wisely. And she gives you some directions, out of this small little keep that is not going to take you out the front door.
Okay.
She tells you that Apal has actually trusted her, with the magical password to get into his tower.
Fuck.
Problem?
No.
The magical password to get into his tower is very tricky, and once you say it, you must move with haste, for the door does not remain open long. So it is Casiti Amor. do not know what it means, but I know that that must be spoken to get into this tower. For there is no real doorway, as I'm certain you are aware from your last time that you went to the tower.
If that's the case, how did they get in there to investigate the place to begin with?
I am not part of the magistrate. I don't know how they wound up you know knowing that something has happened, other than Apollo has not been seen in quite some time. Actually, since around the time that you all went into the water.
All right.
At this point in time, that's almost 2 weeks ago. Your time in the water, your time, celebrating, and then of course your time, being incarcerated.
Like, this is not the first time I've spent the night in a jail cell, but it's the first time it was more than one.
So a few hours later, if there's anything you want to do in the interim, feel free. But a few hours later, another person does approach.
Oh, wonderful. Who is it this time?
This time it is actually the woman whose baby that you did rescue, Abby. And she
the one that we returned?
Yes.
Okay.
So she tells you, that she actually put some kind of sleeping draught in a couple of, breakfast cakes, breakfast rolls, and distributed them amongst the guards. She has the ring of keys, and has learned that in literally the room next to you, which isn't locked, is where all of your possessions are. And she unlocks the doors, tosses the keys on the floor, and begins to make her way out the way she came.
Saint Abby.
Without much.
I'm gonna make a bonobo roll. I have the presence of mind not to hit on her.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. So
I also have the presence of mind not to hit on her.
Oslin does not, but he also believes he's married at the moment.
Okay. So I imagine you go and collect your belongings.
Oh yeah.
And then do you try to go out the front door, or the way that the old woman, Gaia, gave you?
Oslin's currently trying to sweep the floor with his hands, demanding that everyone else should be going about their chores.
Parthas, perhaps you should pick him up and carry him like a sack of potatoes.
I can't exactly disagree with you there. Oslin, tonight you are potatoes, and I hoist him up over my shoulder.
This is a strange game. I don't think I've ever been potatoes before.
Potatoes are silent.
It is a fun game, Father. You're supposed to keep your mouth shut, though.
So, if the question on the table at the moment is whether or not we're going through the front door the way the old woman told us, I don't think we have any reason not to believe her. Does anyone else have any thoughts on the matter?
Regardless of whether or not we believe her, going out the front door should not be an option.
I agree.
We go the way she suggested, because front door just means that we're going to find ourselves back in the cell.
Perhaps it would be a good idea if this Tylea, if you lead the way in front of us. You are a little bit smaller in stature and can keep an eye out, perhaps without being noticed.
Certainly, that's not a problem.
Son, who is Tylea?
He means Kali, Father. He forgot my name.
Potatoes. Shh. So yeah, I guess we're gonna. I'll take up the rear, unless Dante wants to. I imagine since I've got Auslan slung over my shoulder, I'll kind of take up the rear as we make our way along the pathway.
Aslan is humming to himself. It sounds a little bit like the Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting song.
So as you begin sneaking away, I imagine you're heading off in the direction to head straight to the tower, or are you going somewhere else?
Where else would we go?
No, I think we would I would insist that we head towards the tower if anybody suggested otherwise. But I don't think they are. I get the sense that we're all on the same page here.
Except for Auslan, but we all know he's not in the best of sorts right now, so.
So as you begin slinking off, none of you see what happened, but all of a sudden, Parthis jerks mid-step. Please make a Constitution saving throw.
All right, let's see.
Wizard swears.
Let's see. Constitution is one of my saving throws, so with a +5, that's going to be a 21.
All right, so that becomes that. So, as a arrow, pierces your back, you take 27 points of damage.
Holy. That's on a save?
Yeah, that was with the successful save.
Oh, I think with that much damage.
Yeah, Dante says your name questioningly and sounds like all of a child for a second.
I almost drop potatoes Auslan, as I just start kind of almost like swatting at my shoulder blade and can't quite get at it. And as I turn, I imagine you'd be able to see the arrow sticking out of my shoulder blade. Oh,
sweet goddess.
Auslan, I need you to also make that same Constitution save.
Okay. Auslan is also being potatoes. He sees the arrow and doesn't react. I had a 16.
Can we by chance see where the arrow came from?
It looks as if it came, if you did a quick trajectory, it looks like it's coming from the roof of the keep, the barracks where you were just imprisoned.
Right, that makes sense. Probably shouldn't have walked out in the open.
So math winds up working out, around the same. You take 26 points of damage there, Auslan.
Oh, Auslan fails his potato roll and screams obscenities that I will not say on the stream.
Well, that's a good sign.
It is at this point in time that it is quite clear that something is, firing arrows from a very hidden position on top of a roof. Do you investigate? Do you hightail it out of there? What do you do?
Run.
Someone is throwing potatoes at us.
All right, so I don't hear any. I don't hear any contradictions. So you take off. A couple arrows, do come sailing, but as
run in a Z.
As you quickly begin putting distance,
I want a statue.
the scream from the sack of potatoes does wind up causing some late night people to come looking out into the darkness. But since it's night, there's the light sources that they're using are not really giving much view into who it is that's making noise. And I'm gonna guess that Oslin winds up not just continuing to scream the whole way, hoping that's the case.
At a certain point, he stops and he's trying to catch the arrows being launched at them, because monk and I can.
While you're a sack of potatoes on the dragonborn.
Yes, potato grabbing potato, throwing potato at other potato launchers. That is what is happening right now.
Potato.
Who would like me to repeat that 10 times fast?
So eventually the arrow fire does stop and you make your way to the tower. So who remembers the password?
Can you put me down? I don't like this potato game.
I will sit you down now. How badly are you hurt?
I don't know, but I still have these, and I have 2 arrows in my hand.
I don't suppose one of those was the one from my back.
No, that's still there.
Wonderful. Do you need healing?
I do. This hurts. This hurts a lot. What happened? Where are we? Parthas, what is going on?
Wait, so we're not in the tower yet, right? We're at the tower?
You're at the tower, correct.
I'm sorry. Is little person offensive? I don't mean to be offensive. Just
I am small, so no.
Let us...
Okay.
We should perhaps get inside first, in case they are pursuing us. Cassicia more.
You say the password, and the door opens, and almost as soon as the door vanishes, it does look like it's beginning to close.
Yep. Just gonna throw myself in there. Let's go.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So you get inside the tower, and it is quite large and spacious on the inside. There's an ambient light, wizards go figure. And the first thing that Oslin happens to notice as he's sitting there looking at the arrows that he caught, both of them seem to be dripping with some kind of greenish liquid.
May I make an Arcana check?
Arcana? No.
Okay.
Make a nature check.
I was going to hope that it was a spell. I'll make a nature check though. Not that I'm trained in it, but that's a 21.
It is clearly poison.
Yeah. Well, Parthas, it looks like you and I have more to deal with than just arrow wounds. These seem to be poisoned.
No town guard I know of uses poison.
I immediately drop down to my knees so that my shoulders are more easily reached. Please remove this from me.
All right, this is going to hurt. I'm going to grab it and pull.
Let me see. Nope, he doesn't cry.
I kind of flinch at the sight of blood.
You and I have both taken significant wounds. I can only heal one of us.
Well, keep yourself standing. I think I'll... And Oslin starts to drift like he's about ready to pass out.
And I'm
You'll take care of the potatoes. I can take care of you.
My healing magic is because of this. And this may be, now that we have all our gear, the first time you notice that besides being decked out in my chainmail, I have this peculiar sort of, I picture it almost like this sort of Mesoamerican headdress that I wear. It's a little bit overkill, probably, but as I channel the power of it into Oslin, you get 54 points of healing.
Well, that's overkill.
Well, yeah. Remember, it's the 6th level cure
Yeah,
wounds.
I know.
But
Oslin's
that'll take
wounds
care
and
of
then
you.
just kinda, comes to and. Whew,
Well, that takes care of the potatoes.
I'm a human being.
I will stop calling you potatoes then, Oslin.
Please do. This looks bad. I feel like I've missed something very important, like maybe a couple of days.
Well, the most important thing is that we've got you back. We need a proper adult.
That's true.
And
You always needed an adult.
this is the first time you come to realize that there's a halfling woman that's here.
Oh, I recognized her earlier. I said, "Who is
not your dwarven companion?" That's that you're used to taking credit for his spell work.
Oh yes, that is a good point. Set me a DC, please, Ted.
Set me a DC.
Please.
We'll say 13.
All right. Oslin looks at V longer for not sorry. Hey, Tyla, and I am Oslin. I don't believe we've met.
We haven't met in your right mind, no. I'm Talea. Although you kept calling me Kylie.
I don't know why I would call you Kylie. I haven't seen her since. That's a different story.
Clearly.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Now, what about you, Balthus? Are you going to be all right, or do you need a little bit of a boost?
Using my greatsword to kind of pull myself back up to my feet, you can see that I'm leaning heavily into it. I should be okay. And I sort of waver on my feet.
No, you're playing the tough guy. And she'll walk over and place her hand on his shin and cast Cure Wounds on him.
Dante gets a tiny grin on his face.
While that's happening, I'd like to kind of investigate this entrance room a little bit. And bear in mind, I'm still trying to figure out where we are.
Do you say this, or is this is this in character or out of character?
No, out of character. I'm just looking around, but I am trying to figure out where we're at.
It's a running narrative. Why not?
I also rolled a 1, so that happened.
Are you looking for anything in particular, or just taking in the ambience?
Well, we are supposed to be investigating a murder.
Trying to figure out where we are.
So, investigating a murder.
We're in the Wizard's Tower. I've already forgotten his name.
Something. Paul. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic and I see words and my G's and P's get mixed up sometimes.
Apoll.
What? Someone murdered a Paul?
And we are being accused of it.
Well, that is appalling.
Look, do you want some help looking around? I'm rather good at scoping things out.
So you appear to be in an audience chamber. There's chairs and tables. Things have been pushed around. The chairs do not all appear neat and tidy. So perhaps something did happen here. But I mean, a quick exploration of the room. You're not seeing any bloodstains. You're not seeing any signs of foul play in this room beyond just the chairs and tables are not aligned like you would expect them to be. You do see a room where there's more light coming off of it to your left.
Well, I'm headed that way.
Well, it is to the left.
This is true.
I do say that out loud, yes, and I follow.
So as you step off into the next room, this area seems above everything made for comfort. Couches and pillows line the walls. there's a small fireplace in the center of the room. There's no wood burning. There's no heat coming off of it, but it produces light, and you feel, even though you don't feel heat off of it, you feel warm and comfortable in the room. Dante, you said you're the first one in there.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make an
This is
Arcana
probably a mistake. What is it?
You want to make an Arcana check for me?
Oh, yes. Yes, I definitely do. 22.
There is something magical about this fire, or the fire, the room. You're not entirely certain, but the comforting nature of this room, you feel that it will actually aid or hasten, I should say, the resting process. With that check, you realize that you can take a short rest in this room, and it will act as a long rest.
Ooh. Yeah, I definitely mentioned that we should probably take a break in here. And while we're doing that, I want to try and see if I can figure out this spell.
You want to figure out the spell on the fire?
Yeah, I want to see if I can
Okay.
see what's up with that, and maybe figure out how it was cast.
I will assist Dante with all of my wizarding knowledge.
All right, so you guys take a short rest, so that will restore your hit points, restore your spells, restore your abilities. That will include your headdress there, Parthas.
Would it, if it's a once per day thing, does the magic affect it that way? I'm not arguing with you if you say yes.
You are taking a long rest, so anything that would resort after a long rest is fixed. Okay. So go ahead and roll with advantage there, Dante. Your Arcana check with Oslin's helping you, and roll high.
That's going to be 22 total.
All right, you're not certain. There is no spell that you're aware of that can emulate this type of thing. Having split your attention between magic and the woods, and Oslin's splitting his focus between magic and the monastery, you have not come across anything that would allow you to replicate magic items, and nothing that you even heard of that could do this type of effect.
In that case, we need to find a Paul, because we could ask him.
This is a blessing. Where I come from, we have a saying: do not look a gift wyvern in the mouth.
I wouldn't look a wyvern in the mouth at all. They're full of sharp teeth.
So am I. And I grin, showing rows of sharp teeth.
Yeah, but unlike a wyvern, we can just, give you a belly rub.
Dante, you get the look almost like a shark tooth grin coming from your dragonborn companion, and it's more than you're actually comfortable with.
Yes, when I smile, it is not pleasant.
I remain ever glad that you are on our side.
And you, Dante.
So, has anything happened during the short rest for those of you who are not trying to study the fire?
Tyler would be looking around for anything that looks suspicious or weird or off in the room.
Oh, there's nothing that appears off. There is this room seems to be nothing but comfort. There isn't a hard surface beyond besides the floor, and even that this might be suspicious, but even that appears to be softer here than in the other rooms. For those of you who interacted with a Paul, this seems lavish and possibly over the top, but for a wizard to be able to get essentially a full night's rest for only an hour, that would be something that would be incredible for advancing magics.
Oh yeah,
it's a very big deal.
Dante keeps reading, and then not Dante, Aslan keeps reading, and then like taking a quick nap, and then reading.
Parthas is. I'm just resting, kind of moving, as I rest, so that where I got hit by the arrow is closer to the fire, as if that makes a difference. And I'm just keeping an eye on Tylea. I've spent enough time, quite a long time, with Aslan and Dante. And we've known Tylea at this point for,
a few days.
A few days.
Two or three tops.
But within the confines of the trial and the jail cell. So I'm just keeping an eye on her and making sure she's not doing anything contrary to our group's efforts.
Well, at this time, based on what I've seen, she definitely appears, more quiet than Bulgath typically has been, but her eyes are far more watchful than any of the companions that you've been with before. The slightest little, ruffle of foot on stone, or rustle of fabric on armor, and her ears or eyes are drawn to it.
The way in which I am assessing her is the way in which a military leader would assess another soldier, trying to determine what their what their capabilities are.
Well, just as long as you're not looking at her like she's food.
I was going to say, either you want a snack or you have questions for me.
I have neither yet.
Listen, I don't know how I got roped into this, but if you have concerns, my goal is to get the hell out of here as fast as possible, which I'm sure the rest of you want as well.
She has a point,
Are there any are there any small holes or cracks in the walls of this room?
This room, nothing appears to be, disheveled, or any state of disrepair.
Okay.
What is it that you're looking for?
I was considering casting Find Familiar and having it try to scout through parts of this building for us.
Well, I mean, there is further in. There are some there's actually a staircase at the back of the room and a door leading off from here as well.
After I'm done reading, if anybody's paying attention, I'm gonna start drawing in chalk on the floor and then holding something in my hands, and I'm gonna whisper to it, "Dobby, go tell me what your elf eyes or elf ears hear." And then I'm gonna send it off, and a little rat's gonna go scurrying out the door we came in. And then I'm just gonna zone out as I open myself up to my familiar's senses and
okay. So
scout through it.
You can look around. Like I said, you search around the room that you came in. There's a audience chamber, a small conference room. As you come back into the room you're in now, the door leads off into a meager kitchen. It has a small table shoved against the wall, one chair. If the rat, kind of does a little bit of climbing, there is, sitting on the table, clean and in place, ready. There is a single plate on top of it with a single bowl and a single set of cutlery. If you really try to climb and get into the cabinets that's there, there is just a small bag of dried grain and a few jars that have nuts and spoiled berries.
As the Dobby is scurrying along, seeing these things, it might grab some of the grain and a nut and just nibble on it a little bit, and then keep scouting.
When he comes back in, the only area you have yet to explore from here would be the stairs going up.
Can I make a perception check with my rat?
Sure.
I think at this point, Tylea probably would have gone up the stairs herself to survey the area.
So as you begin to climb the staircase, it rises to the second floor, but as you climb, you become aware that the stairs are descending below you in a dizzying fashion. Just as you expect to set foot on the floor above, you find yourself stepping onto the ground floor which you are certain you just left.
Well, this is a pain in the ass. So the door and everything's back to the room and everything there?
As you step off the stairs like you would expect to be on the second floor, you find yourself, at the bottom of the stairs.
All right, I'll go back into the room where the others are.
I think Dobby would have looked up at her, seeing her kind of appear there again, and then looked back at the stairs.
So, do you tell us what happened?
You've all been here before, right?
Once.
Yeah, do you get to go up the stairs and come back down to the same place before and kind of chase your tail?
No,
You
definitely not.
You guys never actually entered the tower. You met Apal. You got some information. He cast this weird bubble on your head, and you went from there.
Well, you go up the stairs, but at the same time, you're coming back down the stairs.
Okay, see, the problem with that is I'm an evocator, not a transmuter, so I have no idea how spatial magic... there's probably a trick to it.
Well, of course there is, but that's not exactly my forte. I'm just letting you know that if you want to get up, the stairs are not the way.
You all put too much thought into your arcane abilities. Always studying and trying to decipher and determine what they do.
Which is useful in cases like this, where we're in a wizard tower.
Or you could just try this. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to walk over to those stairs, and I'm going to try walking up them backwards.
So just as Tylea, experienced, as you begin walking, you see the stairs below you, and it's like all of a sudden you're, hundreds floors above where you are. The distance becomes nauseating. You get that zoom in and out effect, and as you continue your climb and you're clutching your stomach, you too find yourself back on the first floor.
How was your trip?
I do not recommend that.
Dobby
I
is
don't do
sitting
that,
there.
but if you want to learn your own way, that's fine.
It was a valiant effort.
Can we see the second floor from where we stand?
You cannot. The spiral stair takes it, around, and you can't really get a view because it's kind of right above you.
Dobby is sniffing at the stair, trying to sniff up the stairs. I get a perception of 16 for smells.
Not really getting anything smell wise from here.
All he smells is the scent of Parthas walking backward.
Can I close my eyes and try to ascend the stairs?
So Dante, you've seen two of them go up, and you're like, all right, well, it's worth a shot. So you close your eyes, and the three of you watch steadily as Dante slowly goes around and steps onto the second floor.
Oh! What was that about arcane studies?
Parthas has a thought in his head about making a comment about loosening the pickle jar for you, but doesn't say it.
Dobby also copies what just happened, and Osland is still sitting crisscross in the room, accessing his familiar senses.
All right. Well, as long as the eyes become closed, you're able to get to the second floor.
I will put the rat on my shoulder.
It'll nibble your ear affectionately, as rats tend to
I
do.
giggle.
Apparently, Dante is very ticklish.
If Osland makes no move to himself go up, I'm going to gently try to lift him.
Okay.
All right.
And I will carry him up the stairs as I walk up, eyes closed.
All right. So
Dante doesn't. Or, why do I think I'm Dante? Osland doesn't persist.
I don't know why you keep calling yourself Dante.
I do. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
Maybe it's just Aslan in his state of like, not quite there-ness. It's hitting me now.
so Oslin, you don't have any perception of what's going on until Parthis, comes up the stairs carrying your body, and you're seeing this from the rat's view.
The rat like stops nibbling and just quizzically stares at me.
As you see your body being carried
Right.
up the stairs.
And then with a deep breath, I just go, oh, that was weird.
I will hold you still for perhaps a moment too long before setting you down.
Do you look longingly into his eyes?
I do not look longingly into his eyes. I've been holding him, not like the sack of potatoes, but kind of like you would hold a child with a stinky diaper. Just kind of carrying him out like this. I'm not like cradling him or anything.
See, I heard I'm going to carry him gently. So I thought you were literally scooping him up in your arms. And
I meant as opposed to throwing him like a sack of potatoes over my shoulder.
Okay, well that's a different image entirely. As he's sitting there trying to hold his legs, crossed in front of him, and you've got him out in front of you trying to climb stairs. That's got to be an amusing sight for the others.
Aslan pats Parthis absentmindedly on the chest, not even looking at him, and thank you, son. You've done well. You've made me proud.
Tylea,
and then looks at the room.
Tylea, you went up as well, right?
Oh, begrudgingly. She doesn't like having her eyes closed under any circumstance whatsoever. But yeah, she would have gone up.
So you find yourself in a room that looks like this is where stuff is stored. There's some coat racks, some shelves. Looks like there's some old clothing, coats, gloves, shoes. All of them seem old and weather worn. There's some riding cloaks. There's actually even a bridle that hangs next to a saddle that rests in the corner.
Starting to get a little concerned about this wizard's hobbies.
And then next to all of this, there is a door. It's there's not a whole lot of shut doors that you've actually seen in this place. It's all been open doorways. But this is the first time that you're actually encountering a door with an actual handle knob.
Not it.
I'll go and try the door.
So as you go to click it, or to turn it, it is locked. But as you reach for it, actually, yeah, your perception is high enough. For just a moment, yourself and Tylea, you see a small surge on the doorway, where it looks like a glyph maybe about this big appears. Let me get the right dice here. And you can make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh, did I say I grabbed the doorknob? I meant I walk on my hands and knees checking for traps.
Right.
All right. What was the save again? Sorry.
Dexterity?
I'm a bad human being. Why is this open like this? Okay, it is, nope, I don't. 14.
14. So you don't react quick enough when you see this this electrical surge go off. So you actually have a small, weird sigil that burns into your hand. You take 29 points of lightning damage.
Dang.
So it sears up your arm, getting into your chest, and you all see his arm just kind of shake and vibrate for a moment.
Is this sigil like legitimately burned into my palm? Can I look at my palm and see it's like actively there?
Yes.
Is it gonna scar? It's gonna be so cool.
It could scar.
All right. I'm gonna, of course, again, as Aslan seems to do tonight, scream, jerk my hand back, and that appears to be not good. Somebody broke that doorknob.
As
And that
always,
is
take your time before you approach any door.
So
Hey.
as you scream, Tylea, one of the shadows over near the coats, you hear the shadow chuckle and vanish into the wall. But you are the only one to notice that.
Which side was it in the room?
It was pretty much opposite the doorway.
I'll turn around and look and see if I can see any shadows moving in other directions. Are there zones of the room?
There's nothing else that appears to be moving.
I don't suppose that the wizard had a friend here.
I don't think so. Why do you ask?
Just watch out for some shadows. They don't exactly move like they should.
That's strange.
Usually in these types of places, it is. Now, looking back at the door, is the sigil still active, or has that been negated at this point?
It flashed and went away. You would have to kind of look at it and inspect it closer to see whether it resets or whether it was just a one and done.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to take a look at the door, like obviously not touching anything, but see if there's a means of disarming it or anything like that.
Sure. Give me an investigation.
Sure. That's a crit. 20.
All right. So, from that roll, I will tell you that you are quite confident that the trap was a one and done, and that the door is discernibly locked.
All right, then I go to unlock it.
Okay. So you pull out
My thieves' tools.
your thieves' tools and get to work. So give me a roll with Dex.
Okie dokie. And that's going to be a 17.
17 without much effort. You go click, click, and the door is the door is opened.
Good. Anyone else care to go in with me, or you want to stay out here with the moving shadows?
Oh, a moment of valor is in order, he says, because he's more afraid of the shadows than he is of walking in through this door.
She'll hold the door open, kind of like, entrevue.
And because, okay, so scale of 1 to 10, how attractive is Tylea?
Tylea's unusual. She's, halfling size and everything, but she's got these very overlarge violet eyes. One of her ears is kind of docked at this point from former injury, so she's not exactly hideous, but she wouldn't be what you'd call classically beautiful.
Yeah, Dante wants to be impressive anyway, so he'll go ahead and walk in and pretend like he's braver than he is.
I'm gonna retcon something just to be on the safe side. When you guys went out of the jail cell, Snow followed you. Snow came to you. So Snow is here if you want him to be.
Reading between the lines, we need the wolf. That's how bad
no.
this is going to be.
No, it is my fault as a GM to be like, hey, this is a class feature that I'm kind of had removed because they don't want a freaking winter wolf inside a jail cell. They might have harmed it and would have made for complications.
I would have been concerned that they would have hurt him. I definitely would have sent him away.
So I'm putting that in now for whatever. Do with that as you will. So as you enter the room, you find yourself inside a very small room with 3 shelves and a chest, small chest on each. They all appear to be made of a dark wood bound in iron. Each appear to have a lock inset within.
Looking at him, would I notice any more sigils or anything like that?
You could go ahead and make a further investigation or perception roll.
Oh, hell yeah.
I will assist her with the advice that We probably should just open things at random anymore. Apparently, wizards have trust issues.
19.
All right, so they are indeed, they all appear to have a glyph still on them, and they are discernibly locked as well.
Can I tell what the glyphs are, at least to describe them?
As you look at them, they look to be pretty much the exact same make and mark as what was on the door.
Did the glyph on the door go away after I touched it?
It did.
So I'm going to cast Mage Hand. And everybody step back. Let's see if this works. And I'm going to very gently tap a glyph with one of the Mage Hand fingers.
So as the Mage Hand, touches the chest, it is obliterated in a blast of lightning.
And then the rune is gone.
And the rune is gone.
Well, you did your part, I'll do mine. And I'll go to unlock first chest.
All right.
Thieves' tools again?
Indeed, yep.
Okay, so that's going to be a 20.
Jeez. So you find inside the wooden chest 25 gold pieces, a dagger that actually shimmers with a little bit of a blue sheen, and a pair of excellent quality hard leather shoes.
All right, I'll show the contents to the others and look to Aslan. Can you do that again with the other two? Because same problem as before.
Of course. And warning everyone to step back. Again, I will do it 1, 2.
All right, so you repeat, and the exact same thing happens. Each time the the magic obliterates your mage hand. It just can't handle the magical onslaught of lightning that goes into it. So without, I'm not going to make you keep rolling. You've already succeeded on the first two. So the second one is contains 50 gold pieces, a pair of diamond earrings, a bronze ring, and in the third one there is a brown leather pouch.
That ring, Ozan is going to look at that and go, that is mine. How did that get here? And then you guys will all kind of see that slack expression come over his face again.
Is this a habit of his, just so I know for future reference? Is he in and out?
To be honest, I've never seen him do this before. He had a baby before they threw us in the jail cell and they took it from him, and I think that has something to do with it. He's quite a paternal fellow.
Not to mention that the circumstances by which we found that baby were pretty harrowing. Dante.
Yes.
This wizard, Apal, we are accused of killing. Yet, the witch woman said he had not been seen in a long time.
Which implies a body wasn't found, yes.
Are we assuming he is dead, and therefore we are going to start pillaging his tower?
I honestly wouldn't, but I don't know that I want to stop Aslan right now. He seems to be having a moment. We can always give it back to him if we find him.
If the man is truly dead, then he has no use for these items.
This is absolutely true.
Perhaps, if we do find him, and he is not dead, we can return them, having used them to aid us in finding him.
I think he's likely to approve of that, yes.
As I've logged everything, assuming that we're going to take everything.
As voted on treasurer, I already put the gold down.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You were treasuring. So
I was doing the gold.
In almost every game I play in, I'm the assigned secretary
you are.
treasurer. So I just started doing it by habit.
Well, it looked like 3 of you were writing it down, so I hope you're not, getting gear in triplicate.
Yeah,
Well, I've written down that all 3 of us have 50 gold pieces. No, I'm just kidding.
Mhm.
I would like to know what is in this brown bag.
So as you open it up, there is nothing inside.
How big is the
What?
bag?
It's a hefty satchel. But Oslin and Tylea, as you've opened the 3rd chest, a doorway that you had not seen before in the room winds up appearing.
Oslin will only just notice, and then he's going to reach for that bronze ring and put it on.
Okay.
Don't notice anything remarkable about the door? Again, like looking for sigils or
It is a doorway, not a door.
it's a doorway. Okay.
can we see what's on the other side?
It is dimly lit. There appear to be torches in there. So as you look in, the center of the room isn't supremely lit. So you're not really certain. But there does appear to to be a shadow that is moving within.
I'm gonna cast Reduced Flame, seeing that it's not intensely bright, just to try to add to it.
Okay. So as you look in with the extra light, the walls, floor, and ceiling are covered with archaic and magical symbols. It does appear to be, for lack of a better word, it looks to be some kind of lab.
Tylea? Is that
Yes.
what you meant by the shadows being strange?
No, more like a shadow that laughs and moves as if it were attached to something living, but no longer, maybe?
No,
And you-
that's absolutely what you're seeing. You're seeing a small,
Okay.
shadowy humanoid form
Okay.
is moving in contrary to what the light is doing.
Yeah, that would be exactly what I saw before.
And you didn't find this pertinent to mention because
Shadows do funny things. Obviously, it's a wizard's place. Anything can go.
oh, wonderful.
Oslin is over here thinking he's somebody else. Perhaps she did not want you to think something out of her, seeing laughing shadows.
And the stairs that go up, but they still go down, and I just assumed unusual is expected as opposed to the outside of the norm.
Guess
with
that checks out.
With the 24 wisdom, or not wisdom, religion, would anything about these shadows spark anything in my history of having once been a priest? I didn't go into that in my backstory. I was once a priest.
I was going to say, this is news.
I was gonna say she's gonna start calling you Padre.
It's actually technically it's an acolyte or whatever that background
Yep,
is.
yeah, acolyte. Acolyte's a good one.
Yeah. He was a small town priest. He didn't tell you any of that because you didn't ask.
So I mean, there are a variety of creatures that have the capacity to look like a shadow, and not just be a shadow that's created from light. So you are aware of the undead versions thereof. 24 is a pretty good roll. So you would have most of the stats, but with given it's a 24, especially considering that you are trained in Arcana, there are other things out there besides undead that can resemble shadows.
Under my breath, I'm just going to start naming off and muttering about different creatures that can become shadow in nature or are made of shadow.
All right. We are conducting an investigation here, and Let's not panic before panic is due. Pardon me, my good fellow.
Are you addressing the shadow or one of your?
I am.
So the humanoid-like head, as far as you can tell, orients on you. Have you all stepped into the room, or are you still in the other room, the room with the chests?
I mean, if we're all going to go in the room, I'm sure that Oslin would have blankly followed while still naming things.
Yeah, I'd go into the room.
If Porthos is going, then I'm willing to go. I'm less scared with the big dragonborn.
With Dante addressing the shadow, I mean, I kind of lean over to Dante. Perhaps the shadow is the Wizard of Paul.
That had crossed my mind.
And then I look to see if the shadow answers her.
Again, that you hear a small chuckle. I am not a Paul.
Oh, that's quite all right. Dante, this is Parthas, Tylea, and maybe Oslin. He's been in and out today. That's neither here nor there. Might we address you by something?
Paul referred to me as just Shadow.
Oh, that's impolite.
My kind require a price for our name.
Ah. Well, I didn't ask for your name. I asked for something to call you by.
Oh, well, then, as Paul did, you can refer to me as Shadow.
As long as that's what you want. Do you know what happened to him?
It's really hard to see Shadow orient a face, but he looks off to the left, and you are uncertain how you did not notice before. But as your attention draws, you see the mangled body, dismembered and torn limb from limb of the wizard you met not but a couple of weeks ago off to the side.
As Dante appears to be taken aback by this, I'm going to walk up to the body. As a soldier, I've seen bodies torn apart, dismembered. I want to take a look at it and see if there's a precision to the dismemberment, or does it look like it was ripped apart by something?
Give me an investigation.
Alrighty.
Tele would have gone over too.
Yeah, I actually, in this moment, think Oslin would have done something fairly dramatic as well.
So that is a total of 16 on my investigation.
So it was not in any way, shape, or form claws. It was absolutely precision cuts. There are, small wound marks, small stab marks within the torso, but each limb was severed cleanly with a very sharp blade.
Does it appear that how was the body laid out? I mean, is it like just a jumble of limbs, or is it arranged in any particular way?
It looks as if, like, for lack of a better word, murder was done somewhere, and then the pieces were all just thrown into a pile here. Nothing was dragged. There's no blood marks here.
So nothing ceremonial about it.
Nope.
This was done deliberately by someone, not some sort of beast or creature, at least not of a wild nature, tearing him apart. There's a clean precision to the work, yet wherever he was killed doesn't appear to be here.
While Parthas is talking, Oslin is very lazily studying the room. When he sees the corpse, he just drops his jaw and screams, "Bulgath!" and runs up to the corpse and cradles its head in his hands and looks at Parthas and says, "Don't touch him!" And then looks at the corpse and, "Can you hear me? Bulgath, are you okay? Can we save him? We have to save him. Somebody, please do something."
Oslan, he's too far gone.
There's no way.
No, we can't just let him. We can't just let him go. We can't just leave him alone in the caves to drown.
Oslan, like, for whatever reason, him freaking out is making Dante less freaked out, so he's like trying to get his attention.
The shadow has, gives off, some amused chuckles at this whole scenario.
There's nothing funny about this. He snaps over his shoulder.
I'll drop the corpse's head and I'll look at the shadow for the first time. And you did this, didn't you?
I did not.
Then who did?
Well, there is a story there.
Don't have time for stories. Give me a name so I can enact my vengeance now.
Oslan, we need to know. We need to hear the story. This could be pertinent information.
Well, let me tell you this. I do not know how much favor you showed this mage, but he had far greater ambitions than to look after some small little town. Many years ago, he summoned me and trapped me here. I have been unable to leave, and therefore I was unwilling to stop the man, creature, call it what you will, who observed, found the wizard's secret words, snuck in, murdered, and hacked apart your wizard friend, acquaintance, whatever. I had hoped that upon his death I would be set free. But alas, that is not the case. But I can give you the information.
If we let you go.
If you set me free, I will be gone from this place, and you will have what you are looking for.
How do we do that?
There is a book on the other side of the room. My observations of you within the tower. It appears that there are among you those with an intellect, a passing knowledge of magic. Perhaps you will be
Dante looks offended.
Intelligent enough to decipher the spells that will set me free. And after I am released, unbound from this tower, I will give you the information you seek.
Do we have your word, Shadow?
If you can take my word on it, yes, you do.
It's good enough for me. I'll go
Oslan,
look at the spell book.
Oslan's jaw is set, and he stands up and pulls the dagger with the flaming design blade and says, "I have another way of releasing you, spirit. For allowing my friend to die, I can't let you leave here the way that you want. And I'm going to try to attack it. Unless someone stops me.
Are you going to throw the dagger, or are you going to run towards it?
I'm going to lunge toward it.
Talia's going to try and trip him.
At the same time, I'm trying to grab the back of his shirt.
All right, so
grapple checks with disadvantage from me.
Yeah, I would give Oslan 2 grapple checks at disadvantage, and each of you make a athletics acrobatics check to try and bring him down and see what happens.
23.
Yeah, mine are like 7 and 8.
Mine is 11.
So The sequence of events is as follows. You say this this heated phrase as you spit onto the floor. You pull out the dagger and you go to lunge forward. Tylea, happened to be right next to you. She just puts out her foot that you immediately trip on. You would fall flat to your face, but Parthas reaches and grabs the back of your robes and catches you. So whether you want to interpret that as Parthas just being that fast at catching you, or whether he was trying to hold you back, that is up to you to decide. But there is no denying Tylea tried to trip you.
Either way, out of just sheer reaction, I'm gonna swing around and just slash the dagger at Parthas.
Oh, jeez.
Fair enough.
That's probably gonna miss because I am not a melee character, at least not with daggers. That is a 12.
That's gonna miss.
Yeah.
In fact,
so.
the only one that would hit would be Dante if he didn't cast Mage Armor.
Right. It wasn't a high roll. It might have been higher than that, but it's fine.
So
I want to, if it's all right with you, I want to flavor that as he slashes at me with my other hand, I just grab his wrist.
Yeah, that works. I got
Oslan. Bolgath's death will be avenged, but not here. This is not the place. This is not the reason, and that is not Bolgath.
Oslan is gonna, look at the body and look at the dagger in his hand and drop the dagger to the ground and whisper, "Of course it's not." And then just start crying and just like grab onto Parthas's armor and just like push himself against him. And of course it's not him.
At this point, Tylea would start casting Calm on him. Oh, wait, no, that's Charm. Never mind. Charm on him.
Charm person?
Mm-hmm. Charm person.
Jeez.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and just say I failed because I don't think that Oslan would succeed right now. He's not mentally stable enough to defend himself.
I have no problems allowing a player to voluntarily failing a saving throw. So you give in to the charms of the halfling.
So Tylea is going to walk up to him and look up at him, and her eyes are going to get very unnerving and kind of almost like hypnotic. This is neither the time nor the place for your personal demons to get in the way of dealing with potentially an actual demon. You need to keep your head right now and keep your emotions in check.
If my freedom were not on the line, then I would find this incredibly amusing.
Of course you would. That is what you normally do, your type.
So is Dante watching, or has he already gone over to the books?
Oh, Dante's already gone over to the books. He trusts that Parthas has this. Tylea seems really competent, and he believes wholeheartedly that if Oslan did get to the shadow, he isn't going to win on his own. So he's reading.
Especially with hit points left over.
So give me an investigation roll. This is not to see, whether you succeed or not. It's how quickly you are able to find the thing that you're looking for.
So that's going to be 17 total.
All right. So it doesn't take you long to flip through the books and recognize what it is that that you're looking for. And it is a spell that, in order to banish, and it actually gives you the details that this creature before you is a shadow demon. It is demonic shadows summoned from below, brought here. But to send it back, you must call forth light.
Oh, Paul, what were you doing?
He was trapping me here and continuing to offer my freedom if I gave him knowledge. And the room actually, calls forth some more light, and you see loads of books that at this point in time have been tattered and shredded. You see specimen jars that have had something in it that have been broken and shattered. But there's a variety of different types of experiments that were here as Paul tried to use the magics that he was learning from the shadow, in the far back, and literally the shadows in the room must have been at the beck and call of this creature, keeping them hidden from you.
All right. Does anyone know the light spell?
Oddly enough, I don't.
You'll need more lives?
That's part of how we send this creature home.
Well, there's a whole there's a whole ritual that is actually done, and it's described there in the book. It doesn't actually call you for you to actually cast
Oh,
the
okay.
light spell in particular. It's I apologize for not describing it entirely. But in banishing him, light is called forth, and there's, like I said, there's a ritual there, and it gives you the whole process. And with the variety of magical ingredients that happen to be on the wall, you've got just about everything you'd need there to actually enact it.
All right, I'm just going to start setting things up and like directing people as to like what they need to pick up, where we need to put it, so that we can get this done efficiently.
So is Oslin back in control of himself?
Oslin is probably the most efficient he has been this entire time, taking Dante's direction without a single word, and seeming to know exactly what he's doing with his own arcane knowledge.
Then go ahead and give me a an Arcana check with advantage to see how well you guys perform this.
Cool.
Thank you for giving me advantage. My first roll was not good. 19.
19. So eventually, you guys all gather the necessary ingredients. The outline that's already there seems to have already been started. So you draw another circle, another layer, and where there's one object, and clearly this this circle that's here was what was used to summon this creature, and you're winding up creating an opposite marker on the other side. So where there might be a symbol of death, you're putting the symbol of life. Just crossing these different things in 5 different points. And as you wind up finishing, a bright light clears the shadows from the room. The demon in the center of the room winds up actually hissing, just from the light. Clearly this was not exactly a pain-free experience for him. But as the light recedes, he moves, and his shadow seems to get bigger. He feels almost as if you've got that person who stands up taller when confidence has been restored.
Now it is your turn to keep your end of the bargain. Our freedom for yours.
Well, I am not one to back down. So the information that I have been able to gather herein, an assassin, for whatever reason, set out to end Paul's life. He carried a blade, a bow, was quite confident, and moved with an exceptional amount of stealth. To my knowledge, he never left the town. And if the shadows under my command, my control, are able to tell me anything, he is actually currently here in the tower hunting you.
I have a feeling we've already been introduced by way of arrows as I look at Aslan.
I just assumed that was a guard.
You're the one who pointed out guards don't use poison.
Yeah, that was when we were running, though. And I didn't know that the arrows were poisoned to begin with.
Well, I say we find this person and do what we came here to do and get out of here.
Just be aware that if we kill this man, we might have to go ourselves quite quickly and handily, because if we don't leave him alive, we have no evidence.
No evidence for what?
To prove our innocence.
Why would we be guilty?
They thought we were. They threw us in prison. It was this horrible farce of a trial.
The days I missed. Right. Things happening. Oh, okay. You guys need to fill me in on all this at some point. I really don't know what's happening.
Perhaps on the way out of town. For now,
Probably a good
we have
idea.
a killer to find.
Yeah, let's finish banishing the shadow and go find this other shadow.
I mutter something about not being an abjurer.
Are you done with me? Do you feel I've satisfied my end?
Yes, demon, be gone with you.
And thank you.
Well, I would say look me up again later, but I don't think that's anything you would consider doing. And with that, the shadow begins to just slowly, depart as little bits and pieces seem to ebb and flow as ashes would fly from a fire. And in seconds, the shadow before you is no more.
All right, so what's the game plan from here?
We can move around trying to find this person, or we can find the best place to stage a final showdown and just call him to us.
Oh, I like the idea of that. He's here for us already. What do you think, Tylea?
Roman, we have advantage.
I'm gonna reach down and pick up my flaming dagger, or my dagger with the flame-shaped blade. By the blade, look at it and turn to Tylea, and I think you should take this. I don't think I can be trusted with something like this right now.
Do you have something else to defend yourself, though?
Of course. Then I just kind of crack my knuckles. I'm a monk too. Come on.
Or that.
More levels in monk than wizard.
Well,
So
Dante,
same
being a wizard
character.
himself, notices the magical nonsense more than he notices the monk nonsense.
When
It's true. Also, I throw like monkey little spheres of light, so
monkey
it looks
spears,
like
Monkeys.
monkey spheres. It is true.
I love it.
Spheres.
When-
I have those.
when Aslan is aware of himself, like he appears to be now, he is quite a capable individual.
Yeah. Kick ass. We should go find this person and put an end to him.
If you're sure. She'll take the blade, kind of looking between Dante and Parthas, seeing if they're okay with the same concept as well.
Dante's nodding.
As I magically summon my greatsword into my hand that's about 30 times bigger than the dagger, yeah, I'm okay with it.
No, it works for me.
I'm gonna walk over to Dante and then put my hand out, and my rat is going to jump from her shoulder or his shoulder onto my hand. And then I'm gonna go let him scout the downstairs area and see if we're being followed.
Go to make a perception check.
I will. Can it be a smelling perception check?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I got a high roll either way. But It is 17.
17. So he, goes and sniffs and looks around for a little while and does not find anything.
Well, if we are being followed this far, he is really good at covering his tracks. What's the plan?
Well, I look to the others because I'm not military and I don't know.
We need to find a room. One of the rooms that gives us plenty of space to move around in. What of the rooms that we've gone through, what was the biggest?
Either the conference room or the comfy room.
What was the conference room?
The entrance area. The first room we went into.
I would hate to make a mess of the comfortable room with the squishy chairs. And mark me, this will be a mess.
I wouldn't mind making a visit to that room, considering my hand is all, messed up.
If he comes to us there, he comes to us there, but...
Yeah, Alzlin did take a considerable amount of damage again.
Mhm.
Let's go to the comfy room. But be on alert.
Absolutely, because now we're being drawn out. So,
All right. That seems to be the plan. We're going to go back to the comfy room and attempt to heal Alzlin up while also being alert for this assassin.
All right. So you're gonna head back out into the room with the chests, into the room with the coats, head down the stairs and go towards the comfy room. What is your marching order through this?
I would probably go first ahead of the others to see if I can catch anything before they do.
So in the middle, closer to Parthas, who will no doubt take up the rear.
Yep.
All right, so I'm either between Tila
Parthas,
and Dante or Dante and Parthas.
you will be between Dante and Parthas. Parthas will insist.
So
Dante
Tylea,
will not fight you.
Tylea, you step into the room with the chests, move through into the room with the coats. And you notice a moment too late as an arrow flies from behind one of the coats, and as soon as the arrow lets fly, the person cloaked all in black throws itself through the doorway and down the stairs, knowing that his arrow wound up finding its mark as you take 34 points of damage.
Wait. Oh, this happened as she went through?
Yep, as soon as she stepped into the room.
Just checking. Because I have the shield spell. Would I, from my vantage point in the back... Oh, you know what? That's a self spell. Never mind. Disregard.
Okay.
I was trying to help you, Tylea. I was trying.
That's okay. All right, so even though I was keeping an eye out for things, he still got by me?
He rolled higher than your passive, yes.
Okay. Damn.
This guy knows what he's doing.
I will run up to Tylea, seeing this figure. Actually, I don't know if I would have seen him, but I will run up to Tylea. How badly are you wounded?
I'm going to need a miracle if I keep going and he hits me again.
I will give you as close to a miracle as I can, but we need to do better than this. And since my headdress got recharged, you get 7 and 8 is 15. Plus 9 is 24. Plus 6 is 30. plus 6. So 36 points of health back.
All right.
So
Good.
you you for one, you realize that it seems there was no poison on this particular strike, but your second or half a second of wait a second, I saw motion, moved you just the slightest bit, but had the arrow gone just that inch more, it would have pierced your heart and you would have been done.
May I ready an action to cast Hunter's Mark the next time I see him / the movement that I think is him?
You can call that out. Yeah, I mean, technically, ready in action, is like a combat round.
Oh, okay.
So, but I mean, I have no problem, bending that to such a thing that as soon as I see him, boom, I'll do that. Yeah.
And you said he went out the door?
Indeed. And you very lightly, but you heard, you heard the feet on stairs, so you know that either he's done some awesome illusion or he's descended the steps. I mean, there's really nowhere else for him to go unless he made the illusion and then is literally right on the other side of the door. But there would be nowhere for him to go, and that's clearly not a good tactical choice.
Well, he's gone down the stairs. He's in the tree. But he's fast and he's clever.
Then let's go.
We're the ones hunting him now.
Insert quib here.
All right, we're going after him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so same marching order.
Yeah, but
I would say same running order.
I'm pretty much at this point trying to push anybody forward that's not moving quickly.
I'm gonna have my crossbow or the short bow at the ready.
Yep. I'm gonna summon a sphere of light into my non-burned hand.
So you are now on the watch. So if you would like to actually make a perception roll as you begin marching down the stairs, see if you can get better than your passives.
Can I just assist to give advantage? Or
14.
No, with this, it's going to be your individuals to see where things go for you.
I got bumped up to a 21 at least.
16.
$22.
22. All right. So on the surprise round, the first round of combat, Tylea and Parthis, you will get to act as you are descending the stairs, literally buried underneath some of the cushions. You wind up seeing the glint off of the tip of one of his arrows as he fires. So let's everybody roll initiative. And you guys want to throw that in the chat for me.
That was the best initiative roll I have ever gotten in this game, and I will never do it again.
Did you crit it?
No. Dirty 20.
Oh, okay.
So if we take just let us take a quick rest in this room, could we essentially just fight forever? It's hold on, hour breather. We'll be back and just hold on. All right, okay, we're good. Let's go.
Rotate people in and out of the fight.
All right, so Dante, you are surprised. Oslin, you are surprised. Parthis, what are you doing?
How far away is he?
10 foot down the stairs, 10 foot across the room.
And you said, did you say he was hiding in cushions?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going in with my longsword vengeance. And I'm going to, as I rapidly approach this place that he is, I'm going to bonus action lightning breath.
Okay.
So that's a dexterity check.
What is your DC, sir?
It's a DC 13.
All right, so he kind of, short bow still, still at the ready. He kind of does a quick spin, and your breath just goes right by him.
And so, I think we did this last time. I can't remember if it's half damage on a save.
It's normally half damage.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm gonna follow that up with 2 attacks with the longsword vengeance.
Sure.
As I come swinging in, the first attack is going to be a 24.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
The second attack is going to be a 17.
17. He winds up actually getting, the tip of his bow in the way, and this thing seems to be pretty sturdy as he deflects it.
All right, I'm going to action surge.
Okay.
And I'm going to hit him 2 more times.
Go for it, or try to.
Or attempt to. Oh, good lord. That's a 13. Wait. I have a point of inspiration.
You do.
So I'm going to use it on that one. Good God, that's a 2 on that one. All right, so I have 1 more attack. That is a 25.
All right, well, that clearly hits.
So the 24 and the 25 hit. Those are, and I was attacking with versatile, so that's
D10.
2, so we'll do 2 D10. Not so good. That's 6. 14 total points of slashing damage with the longsword.
Okay. So he, grunts and groans, from the, from that, but he did not, lose his mark as he looses his shot at the ranger this time.
Figures.
Well,
everybody gets an arrow.
I rolled randomly to see who it was going to attack,
and statistically, that's what would happen.
Everybody gets 1.
And Dante drops.
Yeah.
The arrow hits her, straight in. The arrow hits him straight in the neck, and on the stairs, he just collapses like a sack of potatoes.
Now Dante is playing the potato game.
Oh wait, I'm dying. I shouldn't be laughing.
No.
Tylea, you're up.
We still have Parthas on top of him, right?
Indeed.
All right, so she's going to quickly flip over to her short sword of the dagger that was just given to her.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to run up to him, and she is going to attack him. First with the short sword, the dagger, and then with the short sword. But I'm also going to toss in a little sneak attack.
All right, you have an ally within 5, so that works.
I do. All right, so let's see. Short sword first is going to be. I just got a crit.
Nice.
Oh wow!
All right, so how do you do your crits here?
With this, your weapon damage is going to be maximized on the die, but you're going to roll your sneak attack doubled and add the second weapon die.
Okay, so we have a full 6 and then another 6 and then the sneak attack on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that's going to be, oh, come on. That was a 1 for the second part of the short sword. So that's a total of 7 piercing. And then, and plus the 4. So that's 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then sneak attack came out to 8 extra.
19 total.
Not a bad first hit for the character.
All right. And then dagger offhand. That's going to be 24 to land.
24 hits.
Okay. And then
I don't know, man. You're supposed to be replacing Fragonator, and he never rolls this well.
Let's just say we're using things that are in her gear. And that is just going to be, that's not so good. Don't add a sneak attack to the offhand, right?
Correct. You only get it once round.
Okay, so then that's only going to be 1 extra for piercing.
Well, if you roll a 1, it's a +1 weapon, so you still will get that.
Oh, so then that's 6.
So,
then would that be 6 then total? Plus the weapon?
You're gonna get the die 4.
Okay.
+1 because it's magical, and you're not a ranger, so you don't have the ability to add.
So then 2.
No stat yet. There you go.
2.
Okay. And then we are at the top.
Bonus action. I'm going to disengage and move back again.
The bonus action was your offhand attack.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Did that thing. Never mind.
It's all right. First time with a new character. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are at the top of the order. So Dante, it is that time for a
Dex save. Pass.
All right. Now I'm going to say that Snow is with you, and while Snow is not going to be directed, I can't imagine that he wouldn't want to either avenge you or do something to help you. So I'm going to actually allow you to use him for an action.
Woo. Hold on. I have his stat block here. Oh, it's in my notes. Here we go. I would have been prepared if I'd known you were going to do this. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It was kind of a spur of the moment. I should have actually thought about it and then given you the heads up via chat.
Let's cold breath. That's a single target thing. I believe that is a con save. DC 12.
He don't have that. So that's... Oh, he misses. Misses by 1, but it misses.
So that's going to be 9 cold damage.
Okay. So you have 1 pass, and Snow is moved up to within range to breathe on him. Does he go in between Parthas and Tylea, or does he kind of move more of a flank?
More of a flank.
All right. So then that brings us to Oslin.
All right. So I had that sphere of energy built up, and Oslin is going to charge forward, jumping over Dante's body and just letting that bolt of energy go as he does. Come on, don't roll poorly. Roll poorly. That is going to be a 11.
11 misses. There's a lot going on, and you're more cautious with your strike, and it goes wide.
Goes wild. And as I land, I'm going to rush toward him, and try to call a bit of that same radiant energy to my left hand, and like light kind of flares along the rune, and he grits his teeth with the pain of it, just clenches his fist, and then I'm going to use an action point or a key point to do patient defense.
Okay.
As I kind of set a stance and just set that guy with a look that says, "I'm going to kill you, dude." In that nice way that I do.
All right. Parthas, you're up.
All right. I'm going to I'm right on top of this guy. I'm just going to hack at him again with my longsword 2 times.
All right.
16 on the die, so 23 on the first hit.
All right.
And 17 on the second.
All right, so again, he kind of gets that that bow in the way and deflects your second attack.
But he will take 8 points of slashing damage from the second attack.
So the bow actually winds up wrapping around his wrist, and it kind of transforms into a bracelet as a short sword springs into his hand, and he goes to strike back out at you, Parthas. So you have a 16. So yeah. He comes in at you with a short sword twice. Are you doing anything about it?
Just knowing with what he's doing with his bow and how much damage he's been doing, I'm going to use my reaction to cast Shield, which will bump me up to a 21 AC until the start of my next turn.
Okay. All right. So the strike winds up. The first one bounces off that shield that you put in the way, but it does not stop the second one. And
I imagine as the reaction, I just generate the shimmering blue shield and push that first attack away, but open myself up for that second attack to come in.
But the blade does have a bit of that greenish liquid that you've seen before, so I'm going to need you to go ahead and make a Constitution save.
Let's see. That's going to be a dirty 20.
All right, so it's 14 poison damage and 4 piercing.
I'm sorry. What was the sword damage?
The sword damage is 4.
And the poison?
It's 14. So a total of 18 damage.
So 18 total. Okay.
And we're up to Tylea.
All right, I'm going to attack him again with short sword. And that's going to be a 15 to hit.
15 is going to miss.
Ah, crap. All right, then I'm going to disengage and move back towards Dante.
Okay. So speaking of Dante, what is Snow doing? And I need another death save.
All right, death save. I failed this one. Meanwhile, Snow, even with advantage from pack tactics, only got a 7 to hit with his bite attack. So,
all right. So he snaps out, and the assassin winds up, nimbly dodging. The cloak falls off, and you do see that this is a half elf that's here before you. If that makes any difference to any of you. That brings us to Oslan.
Seeing this form of him, Oslan is gonna snarl and say, "Darren, you will pay for what you've done to my friends and for stealing my family from me." And walking up, I'm gonna go ahead and punch him in the face, which is a 23.
23 is gonna hit.
So I just clock him in the jaw with just a powerful right hook. And as that happens, he just gets surrounded in the sheath of thunderous energy.
Okay.
That's Booming Blade.
Okay. What the damage was is all.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting there. I just need to see if my dice is more than just a D4 now. It is not. Okay. It's 5.
5 damage.
And, Booming Blade effect, if he moves, takes the damage.
Moves, takes damage, yep.
And then I'm going to spend another key point to do the dodge effect.
Okay.
And that's it for me.
All right, Parthas.
I am going to take my longsword, gripping it in two hands like I have been, but instead of raising it to strike again, I just sort of forcefully grip at it and just kind of do this. And as I do it, a thunderous wave emanates towards him away from me, and he needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
That's 10.
That is versus a 14, so that's a fail.
So
that means he takes 8 points of thunder damage and is pushed 10 feet away.
Well, sadly, he really can't get pushed. He's gonna get pushed into the wall, so he gets moved 5 feet.
I already action surged.
You already did your breath weapon,
and I don't think I have any bonus actions left. So yeah, that's my turn.
All right, so he's going to take that 5-foot step back towards you. A look kind of comes over him. And as a soldier, you've seen it before. Yeah, he's got death in his eyes, but he's not gonna just give up. He's fighting to the end.
Since he willingly moved, he is going to take 8 thunder damage.
What does it stay in that square?
It says on hit. Let's see. At the start, if the target willingly moves before the start of my next turn.
Okay. All right. So what is the damage?
8.
8. All right.
Yep. It's D8 thunder damage, and I rolled an 8.
Yep. No worries. So his first strike, comes in at you, Parthas, and he's got a bead on you for whatever reason, and he brings it in hard, and by that meaning I crit.
Bring it, Ted. I mean, Shadow Assassin. Me all the crit.
So while I'm rolling this, why don't you roll me that saving throw?
That is with my +5 to my Constitution saving throw. That is 11.
All right. Well, thankfully this DC was not, super high. So you take 25 points of poison damage and 11 points of piercing damage.
He hits me with the short sword.
It's a short blade. It's closer to like a thin rapier.
Okay. So as he hits me with this blade, I don't react so much to being punctured by this blade, but when he draws it out, you can see that thick green poison as my blood begins to mix with that and almost sort of foams up a little bit. And I look down in surprise and drop to my knees and then collapse unconscious.
So when he pulls it out, he kind of flicks it back, and a spray of dragonborn blood, begins to, flick out amongst the pillows and stone floor. He takes his second strike to go to Oslin, but Oslin was kind of more ready for it than he would have liked, and you just quickly step out of the way.
Yes, he was.
All right, so how far away is he from myself and Dante right now? Because I would have headed back towards Dante.
You're 25-ish feet away, roughly, to get to Dante. So you could have gotten there without a problem with last round's movement.
Okay, I'm gonna do Cure Wounds on Dante then.
Okay.
And
my hero.
That came up as a 9 total.
All right, so you're at 9 hit points, Dante. Do you have anything to do with your bonus action?
Not really, no.
Dante, you're up.
All right. Let me grab my spells real quick because I think I'm gonna shatter. That's a con save.
Ooh, my second natural 20 for the night.
So he passes, which means he'll take half. Is the damage rounded up or down?
I round down.
Okay, so that's gonna be 4 thunder damage.
So the rock and things around him kind of break and concuss, and he does not look to be too happy with what's going on. Oslan, you're up.
Is that your way of saying he's taken a fair amount of damage?
Yes, he looks very beat up. With his last action, I had kind of said to Parthas that he had a look that he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So between those two descriptions, take it as you will, sir.
Okay. Oslan is going to start to summon that bit of light into his hand, just dead ready to pretty much create a light dagger and shove it into this guy's throat. And the last minute, the light dissipates and he puts his hand out and begins to sing under his breath.
Okay.
A little bit of a soothing lullaby. And I think by now we all know what that means. And I don't think I'm going to hit Parthas in this time.
You're definitely going to hit Dante with it.
Is Dante right in front of the assassin?
Oh, no, never mind.
Because I'm casting it right in front of me. So it's going to hit mostly a wall.
How many hit points does Snow have?
Oh.
Is Snow right next to me or is Snow a little to the side?
Snow is right in melee with him.
Uh-huh.
So am I.
35 hit points.
Wow.
So
more than I expected.
20 or 38 was the total roll.
All right, so so the assassin and Snow fall asleep.
Cool.
And that brings us to Parthas. Can I have a death save, sir?
That is a success with a 14.
Awesome. Tylea, you wish to do anything for the Dragonborn?
Yeah, she'll get up moving away from Dante, muttering in her breath, dropping like flies, these ones, and go over to Parthas and do cure wounds on him.
All right, so we're now out of the combat initiative. For the next minute, we've got two sleeping forms, and nobody's in fear of dying.
I'll tell Talia, we have a tendency of putting ourselves in very dangerous situations.
Putting ourselves. That's how you're going to put it.
Yes, that is how I'm going to put it. I think it's time that we take responsibility for the fact that we keep on taking these jobs, and we could have at any time walked away. It already
we
cost
could have walked away from this one.
Well, you got the one asleep, so I say we tie this one up, get the rest of us into that lovely little chamber, and get ourselves back to normal if possible.
That sounds like a decent plan. Does anybody have any rope?
Of course I have rope.
Maybe we shouldn't...
I like her.
Maybe we shouldn't put him in the room.
Absolutely not. No, we tie him up like a hog and we leave him outside the door and I'll keep an eye on him.
Just making sure.
She's going to huff and she's just going to start hog tying the guy up.
I'm going to carry my wolf into the resting room.
You guys are in the resting room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is where the fight happened.
Oh, well then, yeah, let's kick him out of the resting room. Wait. I say, since Tylea is the one tying him up, remove that, any bracelets or adornments.
She's already pulled stuff off while tying him up, quite frankly.
So I would imagine that you would have gone through.
I'd be surprised if he has anything left in his pockets.
Well, I just remember seeing him turn his bow into a bracelet, and yeah, I don't want any secret weapons coming out while he's tied up.
So there is a pouch with a little bit of coin, not a huge amount. There is a vial that looks like it used to have a bit of poison in it that has been used, and most of it has gone into you guys. He does have some arrows. He does have that fancy bracelet on his wrist. He does have that thin bladed short sword. Um, but then you know tucked down in one of the pouches there is um, a scroll, parchment that's been rolled up.
I would have tossed the roll over to Dante to look over while I'm making
All
sure
right.
the half elf secured.
Reading things I can do.
Turning to Parthas, I'm going to ask, so are we going to interrogate him or take him into the village and let them handle this?
I think we should find out what he knows first.
All right.
So Dante, when you go to read the scroll, it is a writ, a contract for the assassination of you guys. And it is signed by Elder Yosef.
So, how much money were we worth? I want to know.
1,000 gold.
Oh, that's quite a bit.
Did you say Elder Yosef or like Eldar Yosef?
Elder.
Oh, wait. Do we know this Elder Yosef?
The name was heard in your trial. You didn't happen to meet or interact with all of the people on the council for town, but you're fairly certain that was the name of one of the people on council.
So, I mentioned this to the rest of the party, and while we're sitting here resting up, I'm going to draft a letter to my father about this.
Wait until my father hears about this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to take up a little bit of Dante's lead there and start writing a note to my hometown. Just making sure my family wasn't put in danger by this contract.
Oh, that's not at all what Dante is doing. I have
Oh,
the
I get
noble
that.
background. My father might be able to disrupt trade here or something, and I'm angry.
Yeah, but I'm getting more in focused on me actually being Oslin now and not Oslin in the past. And now I'm starting to think about the well-being of my children and my ex-wife. So I'm writing that up.
So I imagine the assassin is hogtied, pretty harsh. He's not in fear of dying. I believe you stabilized him, but he's not in any way, shape, or form moving. We've all had some experience with tying up little brothers and sisters and what have you. So I imagine you guys do your level best and use extra rope if need be. So this guy is not moving anywhere. So your rest takes a little bit longer this time. It's not quite an hour, but maybe an hour and a half to really feel like I feel like I've rested. But by the time you're done, your spells have come back. Your wounds have closed up, and you feel ready to go.
Oslin, has put some kind of poultice or something on his arm and wrapped it, and then kind of checking it occasionally is seeing that burn mark where the lightning hit his hand originally kind of set itself into some kind of runic pattern. I now have a burn scar on my palm.
There you go. So, do you leave the tower to head back to town?
This time, the assassin is the sack of potatoes over my shoulder.
Are we going to interrogate him any further, or are we just going to take the writ and be like, this is a thing?
Well, I mean, I guess we could. What say you? What were you saying, Dante?
We need to deal with this elder. The fact that he crossed us, he set us up. He set us up. We can't leave that unanswered. If we leave that unanswered, everybody else and their cousin is going to think it's okay to do it.
You guys are fairly certain with how easily this guy was able to hide from you. It doesn't take much to put the pieces together that this assassin is probably the one who put the ring on, you guys.
It's the principle of the thing.
So,
Right.
I understand what you're saying, Dante, but we need to bring this before the... if we don't bring this before the town, we deal with Eldar Yosef ourselves, we will still have to run.
We're bringing it before the town. We're dragging his name through the mud. He's... we need to make sure he shows up.
I thought
No.
you meant
What do you take me
deal
for?
with, as I slightly unsheath my sword. I thought you meant deal with Elder Yosef.
No.
I think she wants to play more of a show and tell, as in we show the assassin and we tell about the contract.
All right.
Precisely, yes.
I'm on board with either one, but... okay.
So as you open the doorway, the secret doorway to head out of the tower, the moment that your foot crosses the threshold, you don't recognize it as, it happens for each of you only the moment you cross, but to everyone else it seems as per normal. But you just, see a wall of flame erupt around you. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
I like that. I don't think you've done that to us, Ted. Leave us
And
with
that's like a
leave us
cliffhanger?
with a cliffhanger in the middle of something's. That's awesome.
I think the one time you stepped through a portal. And
Oh, you're right. Yes,
you had to-
that's right.
you had to-
That's right. I forgot about the portal.
So,
But that was
right.
that was a really clear, you're going from one place to another. This is a convenient stopping point, as where like there's still
What?
something happening here.
All right.
So there we have it. Your 6th level session for tonight. For those of you out there who happen to be watching, these are the awesome cards that I get to run off of. Each of them have a cool map, and to try and get it into a shortened time frame, compacted. I take this stuff and I try to trim it down. I try to run it more my style to remove some of the combat. There was definitely more combat options within this, but was doing it a shortened time frame, giving you guys the chance to role play. I do remove a lot of pieces. If you happen to like this kind of stuff, I know that some of these, can be bought over on rpgcrate.com, and there are about 6 to 8 hours worth of material if you want to run everything in its entirety. So you could get a good, session or two out of it if you want to explore all of the options. I actually removed, as I usually do, I removed a card entirely. You weren't supposed to get to the end until you actually explored this whole extra dungeon here. So yeah, lots of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it, both the watching and you guys as the players. As I said, if you want to head over to rpgcrate.com and use promo code NERDARCHYRPGCrate, you can get 10% off your first month subscription. So I'll throw it back out to you guys, the players. You can tell people about yourself, what you thought of tonight's session, and we'll head on out. So we'll go in the same order we did last time. So Jake.
Yeah, hey, I'm Jake from Mini Terrain Domain. You can find me on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain or on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain, where I stream D&D campaigns. Sunday nights, Tomb of Annihilation. Monday nights is also with V as a co-player, DM'd by Mike the Piper. We play Waterdeep Dragon Heist. And on Thursdays with V and with Ted, I run Dawnbringers: The Forge of Fury, which is in its 2nd season when Ted joined us. And that is an ongoing campaign using the Forge of Fury from the Tales from the Yawning Portal. I can also be found on Twitter at MTD_Jake, and that is the best way to keep up with what's going on. In fact, if you head over to that Twitter handle and look at the pinned post, I have a giveaway going on right now where you can win one of 3 Game Masters bundles with starter sets and dice, and the grand prize includes all of the core Monster Manual Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and DM screen, as well as the starter set and all that stuff.
Awesome.
And I loved tonight's session. As always, this is a fun game to be a part of, and it's unfortunate that, you know, whenever you lose a player for whatever reason, but very glad to have yet another opportunity to play alongside V, and have her in this dynamic with the rest of us.
So, Asa.
Yeah, I am Asa with not Nerd. With Nerd. Hey guys, with Roll for Mischief. Thank you. We Twitch D&D every Tuesday, and this session was a blast. I wanted to do something a little bit different with Oslin, and I did, and I really enjoyed it.
So, what was, if you don't mind my asking, was that a thing because of Bolgath dying, because of the kid being taken from you, a combination?
I'd already decided Oslin was going to be going through a mental stage of instability, and he was going to regress back to a point in his life where he had a family. And that was entirely based on Bolgath's death and his unwillingness to accept it. I didn't know the baby was going to get taken away at the beginning of the session, so I had still been trying to figure out exactly how he was going to resolve that issue. And I think he was just going to think it was one of his other children. And a big factor is I was inspired a little bit by Bird Box, and going to have him really struggle to connect with the child, and always sort of refer to it as an it. The baby is, I've decided, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that it's a female.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the resolution is going to be around connecting with the baby and naming it. But that, of course, is out the window with the baby not being part of the session, but still will be probably something further down the road. But yeah, it's mostly the Bolgath thing, and then with the baby being taken away, that was just an extra motivation.
I had to figure out, like, you know, what I was going to do with that particular scenario, because I'm like, I can't see Guard saying, nope, you're just going to keep the baby. And right. I have to deal with the story that's there. And I'm like, all right, well, this is one of the challenges of getting the material once a month. I don't know where the story is going to go. I have to just look and see. And when I get it, I have a chance to read it, adapt it to my style, you know, and go with it. So I'm like, well, maybe there's a chance sometime down the road you guys will make it back to Covington and you can reclaim the baby. But as of now,
who knows?
I have to do it story. There was the option of you guys, you know, when you got out, you could have been like, all right, well, I need to get the child. And had you made the choice then, I would have found a way for the baby to be back in the story. But because you said, well, we're going to go right to the tower, it's out of the picture until, you know, possible sometime in the future.
I think had Oslin been in a more stable state of mind, definitely would have been the motivation. But he wasn't. And
awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, everything else I really enjoyed. I'm sad to see Mike going out of our game. Hopefully he'll be able to join again at some point. But take directions.
Mike got a new job, and you know, nothing bad happened to him. For any of those of you out there who happen to, you know, care about Fraginator, he's fine. He's awesome. You know,
Third shot.
when work permits, Mike will be back, and we'll possibly put him, you know, down in the place below.
I can move the RPG Crate logo up, and we can fit Mike right in there. He says in the chat that we're all going to hell to retrieve Bolgath. So,
but we got a V, and it's a lot of fun meeting you and playing with you for the first time. I really appreciate you being here with us.
It was a really good point for Mike to step out. And like I said, we hope that he'll join us. It might be 6 months, it might be a year. We don't really know. So for in the meantime, we get V. So we'll get back to V in a second. Megan, do you want to give your thoughts, your intros, your stuff?
All right. Megan R. Miller, sci-fi and fantasy author. Torchlighters is available on Kindle for only 99 cents as an ebook and will be free from April 1st to April 5th. So, you can wait if you want to download it then. There's a link to my blog in the description below. That's going to be on the bookshelf. Frags, I miss you terribly. Welcome to the party. You were such a delight.
And then your thoughts on tonight's session.
Oh, it was so fun.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, V.
Hi, everyone. I'm V. I am the Crafting Muse. I have a channel here on YouTube as well. You can find me over there, the Crafting Muse. I'm also very active over on Twitter as well as Facebook. And it was a lot of fun to jump into a new game. I'm also trying on I've never done Rogue before, so this is going to be fun to take this one on. And this is definitely entertaining and very cool to work with a new group. And I've never done the whole jump in the middle of a whole campaign situation either, but it's been great. It's a lot of fun. So I look forward to next session.
Awesome. So typically for you guys out there watching, we do typically run the fourth Friday of the month. Unfortunately, when we're dealing with this many schedules, sometimes things have to move, have to change. But I always announce it during our Saturday live chats as to when things are happening. So if you happen to be looking for this, you can always catch us after the live thing. I love doing this game. It's always fun. You guys are a blast to run for, and the material itself, it is just awesome. As I said, each card comes with maps. Each card comes with cool NPC stat blocks, and pretty frequently there's some fun and interesting magic items that go along with it. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Saturday evening. And you know how it goes. Until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Nerdy.